Hi, Professor. So, what will we be doing today?
Hi, James. Well, we are not quite finished with the European Union institutions, so let's spend one more day looking at the Commission.
Okay, I was just reading up on the Commission yesterday, so it should be useful.
Glad you approve, James. Okay, there is a phrase that is often used when talking about the European Commission, namely that the Commission is the engine or motor of European integration. Why do you think we say this?
To be honest, I don't know. Perhaps it was once true, but I am not sure you can say that today with the same confidence. It does have a power of initiative, but this power seems to be partly exercised under the influence of the member states.
Accepting that this is true, is that a problem?
Is it a problem? Well, it might be a problem for the Commission, but I'm not even sure that is the case. The Commission got itself into all sorts of problems in the past, leading on one occasion to its being unceremoniously booted out of the office by the Parliament. The problem with an overly powerful Commission is that ultimately it has no one to answer to, and that is as much a problem for the Commission as for the Union itself. Everyone needs to be controlled. I mean, the problem is only exacerbated if the neo-functionalist theory of integration is correct, as a powerful Commission will only attract even greater powers, much like a magnet becoming even more powerful. At some moment, it has to stop.
Okay, but if that is correct, why is the Commission not running the world?
Probably because Europe's leaders decided to take back control, at least partially.
And how did they do this?
Well, I believe the creation of the European Union and the expansion of the EEC into social and political areas necessitated greater control going back to the member states. What people seem to forget is that the EEC and the EU are very different things. One was limited to economic matters and sought to create a common market. The other is leaning towards social and political union between its 28 member states. Having a commission in control of technical economic issues is one thing. Having an unelected commission introducing policy affecting member states' social and political policy is quite another thing altogether.
So effectively, the Union became too big for the Commission.
Yes, I think you can already begin to see the cracks appearing with the introduction of the Bolkestein Directive and talk of Polish plumbers.
Are you saying the Bolkestein Directive was an error?
I don't know whether the initiative itself was a mistake or not, but I don't believe anyone could argue that the manner of its introduction wasn't anything but problematic. It led to a major political and social spat that is still ongoing today, fueling the rhetoric of anti-EU nationalist politicians throughout Europe and reinforcing national prejudice.
And what exactly was the mistake that was made concerning its introduction?
Well, rightly or not, citizens in some member states, those against the proposal, considered that it was introduced through the back door, foisted upon them, if you will.
And were they right?
Well, the Council and the Parliament voted to adopt it, so technically they are not right. However, I don't believe that in today's more intergovernmental environment, the Commission would have the influence to introduce and drive through such a directive.
And is this a good thing?
Yes, if we are living in a democracy, ultimately you have to respect the will of the people. In the past, many have perceived a certain arrogance at European level, effectively giving people what is good for them, whether they like it or not. That might lead to a more efficient results, but in a democracy, the will of the people has to be respected. That is the price of democracy. If people misunderstand the benefits of a proposal, then educate them. But I don't believe you can continue to force medicine on them against their will.
Yes, but perhaps that will lead to a dismantling of the process of integration.
I don't believe it will, but it may slow it down, and who's to say that there is anything wrong with that? Ultimately, people have to want what we call Europe, and they have to understand why it is a good thing. It is a transformative process, and it takes the time it takes. There can be no shortcuts.
Yes, but neither can the process of European integration become the hostage of nationalist sentiments in just some member states.
Why not, if that's what people want? Perhaps that is why we need to have a two-speed Europe.
What people want is not what is always best for them, but yes, I agree, it's a difficult question.